Welcome back to It's a Tool Thing. Here taking a look at the new Milwaukee 90-degree impact. Got a couple of different units here for some comparison sizes. First off, part number on this thing. I just got this thing this weekend. Part number is a 2564-20. I just got the bare tool. Going for $200 Home Depot. Literally, I've only just used it today. Haven't actually had it in a situation where I needed to use that tool over the stubby, which would be my standard impact that I use most time for 3/8 drive. I just thought it was interesting with the size comparison here of some of these units. As you can see, obviously the bottom two down here are ratchets, not impacts. But that is the Ingersoll Rand 90-degree impact. I've had that unit for quite some time. I am not a fan of it. It always seemed to be underpowered. I bought that unit brand new, and I've never been happy with it. It doesn't seem to take anything apart. I knew it was going to be slightly bulky compared to a ratchet, but I was expecting to be able to break stuff loose that you couldn't break loose without using a manual ratchet, not an air ratchet. I actually had a whip hose on it until today. It was partially blown out or about ready to blow out, so I took it off. And then I went ahead and put one of our standard, we run a 3/8 air fitting, and then the end that would be normally on our airlines. Though I would probably run either a whip hose, which I've kind of been getting away from, or one of those double swivels to try to keep the size down. But I thought we'd start off here with a little bit of height comparison on these. As you can see right here, I think the tapered nose helps with this thing being slightly taller than the stubby. But I tend to use the stubby in the shop, and I believe they call that the 3/8 compact M18 out in the shop truck at this point. I just brought this one in from the shop just to do this video here today as a comparison. As you can see, it's getting close to about half the thickness of the M12 stubby, and it's definitely half the thickness of this M18. And as far as slide these other ones out of the way here for a second. As far as the 90-degree Ingersoll Rand hammerhead, it's actually slightly shallower, but it looks like the width of it might be slightly more. Let me get just a quick measurement comparison-wise on the head. Yeah, it is slightly more towards the back, which that's one of the things I'm a little concerned about space-wise, is the thickness is back here, whereas this unit here, at least it slimmed down fairly quick towards the rear. I believe this is running the air motor down here and a gear mechanism to get the torque up here. I've never had one apart. I know I definitely don't particularly care for this unit. I've had it for quite a few years, but it just, when it would fit in places, it didn't seem to have enough horsepower to get the job done. Basically what it comes down to. To be honest, I've used this one today, and I'm a little concerned that I might feel that way about this one. The only thing it tightened it up were some caliper bolts on a big truck. These are pretty good sized bolts. I think they were 18mm heads, and I just ran them down, and then I use a ratchet anyways to do the final on them. But they were not that tight, and I didn't sit there and hammer on it, but I expected them to be pretty close, and I probably got a good another quarter turn on those caliper bolts. Maybe it's because they move slightly, because they're the sliding caliper bolt style. I don't know. Like I said, we're still going to have to check this out for a while. I know if I don't like it, I'm not going to keep it, not at $200. So I weighed these two units here. The Ingersoll Rand weighed 3.35 pounds without any airline or attachments on it. And this 90-degree Milwaukee impact weighed in at 2.85 pounds, and that was without a battery, because it depends on which battery you have and the weight, so I just figured I'd do without a battery, though I do have it on here for a height comparison. Like I said, I mean, if you look at it without any air hoses or anything, can't even see it. See here. One second. Malfunction going on here. Guess we will look at it this way here. Do the best I can to lighten the ends up. So it looks like it didn't have any air fitting at all, which would be not usable on this. It would be slightly shorter. But once you add even just the air fitting, it is slightly longer. And of course you're going to have this on there. We run 3/8 instead of the 1/4 inch pneumatic style connectors. And I would probably, like I said, run either a whip is what I had on here until today, or one of those swiveling universals I've been actually switching over to slowly but surely. But you can see here overall the body is just slightly smaller on the Milwaukee. The trigger does stick out slightly further. Like I said, the width is slightly narrower here than it is at least on the back side of the Milwaukee. It did seem to fit in a couple places that weren't super tight. I definitely could have gotten the stubby in there. But it did fit in, at least in those scenarios. And then we got the unfair comparison of the 90-degree impact to the cordless ratchets here. But I figured it'd be good just as a size comparison. A lot of guys might have the cordlesses. And as you can see, the head thickness is quite a bit less in comparison. I don't have any of the long neck ones, so I'm not sure. I'm thinking that they'd probably be slightly longer than this unit, but I don't have any of them. To be honest, I don't use cordless ratchets or air ratchets enough to really justify buying any of the other ones. For some reason, stuff I'm working on, usually it's a 3/8 impact is most common. A lot of times when I go 1/2 inch, I'll go ahead and go with a air impact, even though I do have the Milwaukee, the heavy duty 1/2 inch and the mid torque. But I tend not to use them unless I'm out in the field. They're just a little too cumbersome, a little bit heavy, and I don't feel like I'm getting the horsepower out of it, or at least the horsepower for space. And I only have 2 of them, so I went ahead and keep those out in the shop truck, even though I have 2 air impacts to back them up in the shop truck. And then here, of course, this is the 1/4 inch, which I still wish they would change that anvil out to a 3/8. I would be much happier with a 3/8 anvil in this one. Probably get more use out of it, to be completely honest. As this one doesn't seem to fit in a lot of places, or I don't think it will, so I actually may not even try it, and it might actually fit. Other guys in the shop do use these, and they're okay with them. This is also kind of a comparison. The head size on this one is pretty similar to the old style ones, the old style non-fuel ratchets. I don't have one of those anymore. I actually gave the one that I had away to my dad. I knew he didn't have one and figured it'd be something he would like. So since I had 2 of these already, that I got good deals on. But I'm going to be testing this thing, putting it through its paces, seeing if I like it. I'm hoping I'm going to like it, because if I don't, I'm not going to try to do this like this one here. I've had this thing for years. I don't even know how many years, but you can still read the serial number on the tag because it's so lightly used. I mean, yeah, it's got some scrapes on it, but it just frustrates me more than anything. And I'm a little concerned that that's what this one's going to do. But I wanted to get one and give it a test out and see what I thought. Thought I'd bring you guys along. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment below. Have a great day.